Infiniti is here with the all-new, redesigned 2025 QX80 luxury SUV. It has brand new styling. It has more power than ever before and more capability and technology, but
we have to test it against the competition from GM, arguably the benchmark in large SUVs for the last 20 years.
Yes, so you brought, what did you bring?
This is a GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate.
Huh, and they're almost the same price as this QX80.
Autograph.
Yes, so how about this? Dude, how about we kind of go feature for feature, capability for capability, take both of them on a little drive and see, did Infiniti actually build a really great challenger to the GM SUVs?
I'll take that deal.
So first, we got to talk about, how big these vehicles are, and also, what is an autograph, Infiniti?
Well, the autograph is as far from the base model QX80 as you can get. This is the very top of the line, and we'll show what all that includes in this video. But yeah, you're not joking. These two SUVs are massive.
Yeah, and if you look at like the wheelbase, let me use myself for size.
Yeah, even you're not big enough to show.
No.
You've got a long wingspan, but...
This is 6'3". They have almost identical wheelbases, right?
Yeah.
So I think when Infiniti was looking at the best seller in the class, which is basically the GM SUVs, including the Yukon,
yeah.
I think they kind of had to match them at least on size, capability, and proportions. And, well, they did it.
Yeah, they're about as similar in size as we're going to get.
But let's take a look at styling. When you're talking about luxury, you need to arrive in style and you have to be large and in charge. And I think Infiniti is doing this with a humongous grille, but also new styling. So they have basically their signature lighting on top and the main headlamps here lower. And they also have aerodynamic devices, Kase, air curtains for ultimate efficiency.
Does that make it aerodynamic?
It should make it better. And a humongous logo right there. What do you think?
I think I can match you on logo size.
Actually, let me measure that.
Exceed.
Let me measure that. So, okay, so this logo is
almost 10.
Almost 10 inches. Okay. So what does the Yukon have to say about this? Oh no.
Oh man, you're in trouble. It's almost 20. Look at that. It's 18 3/4. That's pretty impressive, Andre.
But this styling, to me, it's a little bit more classy, I would say. Maybe more traditional is the name.
At the end of the day, style is subjective. I think the majority of people, I would wager, would agree that the GMC is the better looking of the two. It's worth noting, though, that this is not the newest version of these GM SUVs. There is an updated version that is coming. The headlights are a little different, few differences inside, but mostly the same vehicle anyway.
Well, the 2025 Yukons are not available yet, so nobody has driven one, and they're not on sale yet. So this is currently the best we could do. But what about an Escalade? Should we have compared it against the Escalade?
Well, it's a good point. This is the Denali Ultimate, so like you get from the name, it's the Ultimate. This is as high up as you're going to go with the Yukon, and that places this maybe just below the Infiniti, but the Escalade is maybe a step up from the Infiniti in luxury, so you could kind of go either way. That splits the difference.
All right, let's look under the hood and then take them for a drive. So the QX80 and the Armada always had a V8.
Yeah, now it's a V6 twin turbo, 3.5 liter and a 9-speed automatic transmission.
All right, so it appears to be Nissan and Infiniti. They're moving into kind of where Ford also is and some others.
Yep.
They're downsizing displacements, they're adding turbos, but they're also creating huge power. 450 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. But you do need premium fuel but this is a premium SUV.
Yeah, and those are huge power figures. Another potentially cool thing about this vehicle is that it is a full-time four-wheel drive system.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about switching back and forth between two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, which is a convenience feature.
And you could put all that power down. Well, let's drive it and find out. You know, these seats are pretty comfortable, and it feels like I'm sitting higher than I'm used to.
Yeah.
But still, I have space.
It's definitely a big vehicle. It feels every bit as big as it is from where you sit.
Oh, now I have piano keys here for transmission.
Go figure.
So they have little notches in them, so I can kind of find them, but not ideal. I would say, I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm getting older, but I like a little bit more traditional things, like a column shift, maybe.
Those were the good old days, man.
Yeah, it's not happening right now.
No, even that GMC, as we'll see momentarily, it's gone. No more big chunky column shift.
But I really like the stocks here. You know, I can control my lights and my wipers traditionally.
Yeah.
I don't have to go into the screens and mess around
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, so you do still have some hard buttons, some physical buttons for some of your more important controls. Oh, sport mode?
What did you think I was gonna do?
I don't know. I'll put my head against the headrest.
Put your head against the clips, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
You gonna brake torque it?
I'm gonna brake torque it, and
For as big as it is, it's not slow.
and also there may have been a little bit of augmentation. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's a little
Just a
hard
little
to tell.
sound.
It definitely sounds like a V6, which it is, so
Yeah.
it's not augmenting it to sound like something different.
Right.
But it doesn't sound horrible. It's almost got a little bit of a GTR sound to it. This is not a GTR V6, but a little bit of that sound quality.
But speaking of the GTR, the Nissan GTR,
Yeah.
the Godzilla, is that Nissan has had a long history with turbocharged engines.
Absolutely.
So we don't need to be, really super concerned. Oh, this is the first time they've tried turbos, right? It's not.
It's
not
proven.
the first time.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. By the way, Kase, I really like this kind of dark chrome
Yeah, me
that
too.
GMC uses.
It looks super sharp. Well, we don't have the fun logos on top of here that
No.
the Infiniti has, but I'll go ahead and tell you this is a 6.2 liter V8, 10-speed automatic transmission, so one more gear. Obviously a very different style of powertrain, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, so the numbers aren't as high.
Yeah, and something interesting for 2025, we mentioned that new model, right? They're keeping the powertrains.
Yeah.
So they're not, using hybrid technologies, they're not shrinking displacements. And we have to talk about efficiency, but let's do that after we drive. What do you think about those transmission select switches?
I think like a lot of people prefer the big chunky column shift,
Yeah.
but I'm not married to it. At a certain point, an automatic transmission selector is not really a huge buying factor for me. So if it cleans up the interior a little bit and makes the packaging easier when they do the transmission selector like that, it's not like the difference between a manual and an automatic. So I'm not gonna read anyone the riot act.
So, and also GMC is changing this for 2025. So stay tuned, right?
Yeah.
We'll be testing those Yukons, the next iteration of it, probably within a couple of months. So stay tuned for that.
Now, like with the Infiniti, we are in sport mode. We got to test out the acceleration. So just like Andre did, I will come to a stop, brake torque it, and see how she does.
But you don't have
getting off the line.
turbochargers though.
I don't. So there's nothing for me to spool, but the power is instant.
I'm gonna put my head against the Bose Performance Series.
Yeah, see how that compares to the Klipsch.
Okay.
So it sounds better. It definitely doesn't throw you back.
No, it doesn't
like
throw you
the
back.
Infiniti does.
No.
It doesn't really feel like that's the intention of this powertrain.
No.
It's not designed to jump off the line like a crazy fast sports car, but it's got a nice throaty sound to it. Still plenty of power to motivate a vehicle of this size. And the thing that I really like about the GMC or any of the GM SUVs are the powertrain options.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude. So if you have not a Denali Ultimate, but a more basic Yukon, you can get a 5.3 V8 still. Yep. This is a 6.2 V8, like we talked about. You can also get a 3-liter Duramax, and the latest iteration of that engine is coming soon. But Kase, what about capability? Because these are huge truck-based SUVs, right?
And when you've got a big SUV, you definitely want to have utility. Towing figure on this QX80 is pretty impressive, 8,500 pounds.
Yeah, that's nice. We'll tell you how it compares to the Yukon. What about payload? I mean, because this is about carrying lots of people, things as well.
Yeah, it being a 7-seater, you do need a good bit of payload just to carry all those people. Not even including the stuff that you might hitch to it.
Yeah.
1,466 pounds of payload on this.
That's pretty impressive.
Also
but what about
good.
space?
So this being a 3-row,
Yeah.
when we have the 3rd row in place,
This is the hitch cover.
it's definitely a little on the compact side. So if we take our measuring tape to the bottom of the seat and to the edge of the trunk here, it's about 17
17-ish?
inches to where
Okay.
the carpet stops. Of course, you can power fold down the 2nd and 3rd row
Yeah,
and
let's try
power
that.
fold them back up, which is pretty sweet.
Let's remove this shelf, maybe.
The other interesting thing is, as this is spec'd in this QX80, we have a little cooler here with an Infiniti logo in it and almost a carbon fiber-like pattern. But a couple cool things, air suspension on this. So if I want to lower the trunk to make the lift over height a little bit easier, I can do that with these buttons here. And then if I want to start folding down my rows of seats, I can start with the 2nd row, single press, I don't even have to hold it down, and those will start to tuck forward. And I can do the same thing here with the 3rd row and really open up the trunk space.
Okay, so we're not towing a trailer today, but I like the location of this hitch.
Yeah.
It's very easy to reach. These openings for chain hooks are very easy for the trailer. There's a 7-pin connector here, but I don't see any 4-pin connector for lighter trailers.
Yeah, so you'd have to get an adapter.
Little adapter. But let me see the cover. I was kind of holding it before.
Yeah, this is a bit of a process.
Let me give you one of the
Oh
pins.
boy.
And then it goes down here. And then you insert that little pin and you're supposed to twist it.
Yeah, but this one's not even lined up here.
It's not?
No. Oh boy. Oh boy. That actually wasn't too bad. Getting it off was a little bit of a process. Putting it back
Yeah.
on was easier.
And it's kind of covered. I mean, a lot of SUVs do this,
Yeah.
where they try to have a clean look, and then you can open it up.
Oh, let's look at the GMC.
Kase, you called this the benchmark, right?
Absolutely.
But the towing numbers and the payload numbers are a little bit smaller than the Infiniti.
That's true, but not by a lot. So 8,000 pounds of towing here with the Yukon. Still a pretty good number, but 500 less than the Infiniti. Also 1,377 pounds of payload, so about 90 pounds less on this roundabout than the Infiniti. So a little less, but not dramatically so.
Okay, well, let's open this up. First of all, there's a button here. I really like this.
Yeah, a little extra feature.
Yeah, so the glass opens separately, and this is useful, you know, if you're putting groceries or bags in here, so they don't like try to roll out on you again. So this is pretty useful. Now, if we open this with this button, let's take a look at the space.
So if we measure, just like we did on the Infiniti, from the back of the seat
Yeah.
to where the carpet ends, it's a little over 20 inches. So
And the
this-
other one was 17.
Yeah, this is deeper, even
Okay.
with the 3rd row up. And again, like the Infiniti, we can move these seats down on our 2nd try.
Oh, but you need to move the middle row
Yeah,
first.
we gotta tumble these guys. So,
It's not as smooth,
no, it's not going quite as well.
but it's fast. Can you bring up? Whoa.
Yeah, so we can tumble everything, still give ourselves quite a big space here. Not quite as flat, but there's no console in between those seats, so you don't
Right.
have that sticking up. The only issue, though, that I have is that if we want to bring the 2nd row back into place, we gotta walk around to do that.
Well, let me do that while you actually. Let me do that first, and then you can bring the 3rd row up.
yeah,
So I can do
Andre's
this
gotta go
manually
do that.
here and here. And now how about you bring that up?
Yeah, and they actually rise pretty quickly, so that part of that's easy. It is just a little bit of a bummer by comparison that you have to walk around to fold down those second rows.
There's a little bit of, well, not much space in there, just a couple tools. Let's take a look at the hitch as well. Really easy to reach. We've towed with the Yukon many times. But look, no adapter needed. There's a 4-pin, a 7-pin down here, and the cover. Let's see if we can get it. So these pins are actually held in place here.
Yeah, the other one, they kind of came out.
So
this is a very detailed review.
This is what we do here at
How
TFL.
easy is it to put the hitch cover back on? Well, now you know.
And the other thing I want to mention, Kase, is that the Yukon has 4 times more exhaust pipes.
Yeah, look at that. Pretty sharp. I like it.
Because the Infiniti has an exhaust pipe, but it's not visible.
No, which is arguably more elegant, but I am not arguably more childish. So the 4 pipes go a long way for me.
Well, there's a pipe right here.
Yeah, it has them. They're just not visible.
Okay. This video would not be possible without our friends at Johnson Auto Plaza here in Brighton, Colorado. Use the link in the description below. Check them out. They have a huge selection of course, GMC vehicles, also Stellantis, and Chevrolet. Let me go into eco mode. Maybe it will relax the suspension a little bit, and maybe we can actually becomes a little bit more pleasant.
Yeah, because this is air suspension, so obviously there's adjustment.
You could change it, yeah. But I agree with you. By the way, steering feels, there's some heft to it. It's not super over boosted or very light. I kind of like that. And you know, the gauges are very clear. Everything, I have paddle shifters, so I can control my 9-speed.
Yeah, and it also goes around corners with less body roll than I expected when I first got behind the wheel.
For a humongous SUV.
If you do want to hustle it around, you can.
And this is the only powertrain available.
Yep, that's true.
You can't spec it with, you know, a diesel engine or a hybrid or anything like that.
Just this.
Yeah. EPA has rated this Infiniti QX80 at 17 combined and 19 on the highway.
Yeah,
which is not anything to like for headlines.
No, but it's on par for an SUV of this size.
And it's better than it was, right?
Yeah.
So they did improve their QX80. But when you're paying, you know, we'll talk about pricing later, when you're paying that much money, you know, maybe fuel cost is not your primary concern.
Yeah, true, especially premium fuel at that. It's worth noting that the fuel efficiency on this 6.2 liter is not as good as it is on the Infiniti. So
no, it's like 1 mpg less, right?
Our combined here is 16 versus 17 on the Infiniti, but we're 1 mpg worse on the highway, 2 mpg worse city. I think this is 14 city, 18 highway, and the Infiniti is 16 city, 19 highway.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so not a massive difference, but the Infiniti is better.
But when you get the Duramax, what happens?
Way better.
You have 20 mpg city, 26 highway, and 22 combined when you get the Duramax.
Yeah, so you're considerably better efficiency on the highway, and even overall, your combined figure is 5 mpg better than it is on the Infiniti. And again, that 3-liter Duramax is not going to be as fast as the Infiniti.
No.
But still 460 pound-feet of torque with that setup. So if your consideration for power is around towing, then that 3-liter Duramax is going to do an awesome job pulling a trailer.
Or road tripping, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you're going on a long road trip, that Duramax will provide long range.
Yeah, because of that efficiency.
Exactly. But what about suspension feel? I mean, this feels similar to the Infiniti.
Yeah.
Maybe a hair, a little bit, tiny bit smoother, but it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I would say they're pretty comparable. Again, both of these SUVs are on 22-inch wheels, actually with the same brand and pretty much the same model of tire.
Yeah.
So in that way, there's some similarity. I agree, it might be marginally smoother, but it's marginal.
All right, let's get in.
No power step, Andre.
No, that's a little bit odd,
Yeah.
but I actually don't need it because I'm pretty tall.
Yeah,
Push button start,
of course.
very traditional. That's nice.
And look how many screens you have, Andre.
Lots.
Not one, not two, but three,
Yes.
which is a whole lot.
Yeah, thank you. We need to. Oh, every time I punch, it has a haptic feedback and it just kind of vibrates. That's kind of interesting. And we have dual 14.3-inch diagonal screens up here and a large screen down here.
Some pretty impressive real estate and a really nice layout on this. I think the steering wheel is very sharp. Yeah, I like the lines that are here in the dash. There's some more lines on this glossier material and it says Infiniti. It's a sharp looking interior. We've got clip speakers that actually have some speakers in the headrests as well, which is also pretty neat.
Yeah?
And then we've got a bunch of cubbies.
Let me look. So there's a little wireless charger for my phone. Cup holders. This is where our
Naturally.
keys are.
Yeah, and then this is kind of the coolest one.
What?
Well, literally, because that's the cool box. And you flip it on, you think, oh wow, that's really loud.
Yes, it is loud.
Check this out. You can barely hear it now.
Yes, but I could still hear some fan. But if I'm driving and I have my music on, I would not notice this.
No.
This is cool. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Cool box. Okay. And then the technology, I mean, obviously, Infiniti redesigned the entire thing,
Yeah.
right? The steering wheel is new. We're not on the highway today, but this also has a hands-free system for highway driving. There's a little sensor that's looking at my eyes, the driver's eyes, and making sure that the driver is still paying attention. You turning down your seat?
I'd rather have it on, honestly.
Okay. What about modes? Okay, that's pretty nice. So I have several drive modes. I can personalize it too. And this is what we're talking about, four-wheel drive, auto, all the time. And also tow haul mode. But Kase, you know what I've noticed?
What's that?
There's no brake controller
No
for the
brake
trailer.
controller, yeah.
For the trailer.
So a lot of towing capability, but doesn't have the integrated brake controller. So does this not have a low range?
It doesn't appear to.
Yeah. So
It goes
just
to
4
4
high.
high and all-wheel drive auto.
Even in the snow mode, which would be the only off-roady kind of mode.
Oh look, but we do have a camera system,
Yeah,
of
really
course.
good camera system.
And 360-degree views and under the truck views as well. Oh yeah, captain chairs. I like this.
Yeah, with a console in between us, and here's where things start to get pretty impressive. Of course, I can move my seats around. I can recline. We've
Really?
got heated and ventilated second row seats, which is pretty nice, and our own climate controls.
I would expect nothing less, right? This is a luxurious SUV.
Cup holders. But we've got this screen back
Wait.
here where we can play around with also our climate settings. Maybe a little redundant, but we've got our heated and ventilated seats controls. Again, a redundancy there. Some more seat adjustment. This is one of the cool things that I think is pretty unique here, is we've got actually a lumbar adjustment even in the second row. Which is pretty nice. And then if we go to the home page and swipe over, there is a seat massage function. But tell me what you think. When I switched it on, to me, it just felt like no matter what the setting, it was kind of inflating and deflating that lumbar adjustment bladder. So
Yeah, I would expect like several different sections.
Zones, yeah.
Zones, but it doesn't
it
have
just kind of
several
inflates
zones.
and deflates your lumbar.
Yeah.
So
So maybe not the most advanced massaging
Yeah.
system,
no.
but still interesting. There's a little storage cubby. Ooh, it's deep.
Yeah, and it's got 2 USB-Cs and there's 2 more ahead of us.
So you could store your devices here, and but how do I watch my movies?
I know, and I was also a little bummed out that there wasn't an additional shade that I can roll up here
Okay.
in the window. There's nothing.
What about the third row? All right, the seat is moving. Let me try to climb in the back. I like the carpet floors. It looks premium. Okay, let me move this first. There's a third seat belt for the middle. So Case, my head is touching the ceiling.
Yeah, well, you're 6'2", so I guess that's to be expected. But tell me that you aren't impressed.
Oh, wait.
By the amenities.
I am impressed. So first of all, I just reclined. I have reclined. Oh, I have heat here as well.
Yeah.
And cup holders and chargers.
And you have your own vent.
Yes.
So you got a vent, a heated seat, a USB-C.
And my handle. And my speaker. So actually the third row in the Infiniti QX80, I don't feel like it's like a penalty box, right?
No, you've got a lot of amenities.
And this pillar, you see this?
Yeah.
So this is the C pillar basically. It's kind of small. I can still have a big window and I can kind of see around what's going on here.
I'm impressed. Power steps on the GMC, Andre.
That's kind of nice, actually.
It is pretty nice. The other thing that I like a lot, and this is just down to the way that this is spec'd, but the brown leather inside of this with a very baseball glove style stitching.
Yes.
That's nice.
And I like the kind of natural color wood here, and also wood on the dash.
Absolutely, but we are down a screen, so I've got a big screen in front of me and a big screen in the center. But then for the climate, we've got hard buttons. And actually, for us, that's far from a deal breaker. We like dedicated switches for climate control, so not such a bad thing.
I agree with you because, it's easy to find these knobs even while moving and things are happening while you're driving. That's quite easy to do.
Yeah.
But I still have ventilation and heating here.
Yep, exactly. So ventilated and heated steering wheel too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've also got 4 auto, 4 high, and 4 low, as well as a 2-wheel drive setting. So as far as the transfer case, there's a little bit more that we can do with it.
Yeah, I like that more.
And then you know what this means, Andre.
Super Cruise!
Which is an awesome hands-free system.
Yeah.
So it looks at your eyes, you don't have to mess around with the steering wheel. And one of the really impressive things about Super Cruise is that you can tow with it. So hooked up to a trailer, this will still allow you to do hands-free driving.
And speaking of towing, you do have a trailer brake controller over there, don't you?
I do. It's a little out of the way, a little hard to see.
It's on the left, right?
But still just having it integrated is a really nice thing.
Okay, and I love the GM system for towing. You can define your own trailers. You've seen this before, right? We've done many GM SUV and truck videos before. And also, this console slides backwards. Ooh, yeah. This is where your most secret things go.
Yeah. GM has done some secret cubbies in these for a while now.
Remember previously the screen would open?
That was really cool.
Yeah. Like James Bond style, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But wait, there is more. Also in the headrest, Bose Performance Series.
Just like the Infiniti, we've got speakers in the headrest. Getting into the back seat, once again, impressed by the materials. So it's kind of cool. These seats have white piping, similar stitching to what we were looking at ahead of us. And there's actually all of these lines. Andre, tell me about these lines that are everywhere.
Yeah, so this is basically supposed to be a topographical map of the Denali State Park. You can also see it in the wood up there in the front. So just a little bit of a hint of the Denali name. The Denali name is very popular for GMC.
Yeah, and they've given us a couple cool Easter eggs. As Andre is pointing out too, we do have some big screens in front of us, which is theoretically nice. I do feel like most kids these days have personal devices that they'll use instead of the headrest screen. So
I would rather actually have a holder where I can put my own tablet or laptop into instead of this, but you could watch TFL Truck right here.
Yeah, which is potentially useful. We do
potentially?
Potentially, if you don't want to use your own device.
Yeah.
And then we do have climate controls back here as well.
But no ventilation.
But yeah, not ventilated.
But HDMI ports.
Yeah, so
I
you can hook
connect
into these screens.
Yes.
So still some amenities, but I would argue not quite as nice as the Infiniti.
So this is a manual operation, but it's very fast. Okay, so I can jump in here. You know what, Case? I have a little bit more headspace.
It looks like it.
Yeah. So I'm a tiny bit more happy. But look at this.
Yeah, there's not much you're gonna look at.
It's like 2 feet long, and I feel a little bit claustrophobic because there's not a lot of vision that's coming through here. I do have a cup holder. I have a USB-C. But you know what I don't have is heating and cooling, or I do have my own vent.
Yeah.
But You know, the Infiniti is a little bit nicer.
Yeah, once again, not as many amenities.
All right, dude, so driving these two, I mean, this definitely has a little bit more oomph.
I would say so. It's definitely pretty spry, and especially at altitude, being turbocharged helps.
But the Yukon, that V8 rumble, it's nice.
Makes a nice sound, and I don't know that anyone's buying either of these for their 0 to 60 time.
Or maybe the sound, but luxury is about sound and the whole experience, right?
That's true.
But what about price? How much do you have to pay for something like this?
Well, the Denali Ultimate is not an inexpensive vehicle, if that wasn't immediately obvious. This one is stickered at $101,800, so about $102,000. And that's pretty much all the options. There's basically no options you can get. This special color in white, it's actually an extra $1,000. That's about all you can option because it's got everything.
Yeah, and of course, like we said, also it comes in this extended wheelbase, so you can get a Yukon XL and really be a baller in that case.
Which is a nice option to have because this not only has a lot of powertrain options, but you can get a longer one, which you can't do with the Infiniti.
Exactly, and this Infiniti, I mean, if it was a two-wheel drive, pure model, that's what they call their kind of a base version, you would start at around 82,000. This one, this is the autograph, right? Everything, all the options, all in one, $112,000.
Yeah.
So this is floating a little bit above the Yukon, and maybe a little bit below some of the Cadillacs, right? So it's trying to bridge that gap, in my opinion, between the Yukon and then the Escalades that can be a little bit higher.
So for your money, which one would you pick?
Oh gosh, I really love the punch of this engine. But right now I think I'm with the Yukon. I just love the experience. Traditional luxury, I think that's where I am.
And I'd have to agree. I like the design on this, and I really like the powertrain options. The 6.2 is a bunch of fun, but the 3-liter Duramax gets you great efficiency, and it still gets you plenty of power. So this, with that 3-liter Duramax, that would be where my money went if I had this amount of money at all.
All right, guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Old TFL, as always, oldtfl.com. You can find everything automotive, all the news in one place, and also TFLstuff.com, where you can find merchandise like this. Karma is a hitch.
Exactly. That's all for this video, and we'll see you in the next.